Hi, welcome to the SSCN podcast for the 2025 World Final with Stuart Price and myself, Glen Marshall. We're just going to have a little bit of a look through one or two of the drivers and a little bit of a light-hearted banter along the way. So we'll start off with pole sitter, which is 107, Evan Foster. Evan's had an absolutely fantastic season, topping the charts in most formulas, and he's getting on up towards 100 final wins now for SSCN, which he told me about quite recently. He's won the European Championship this year, albeit on tarmac, but his Kings Lynn form is very good, and of his two World Finals, both of them came at this track. What do you reckon to his chances, Stuart?
I'm disappointed in him, to be honest. I keep hoping as he gets older, he gets shitter, and it just doesn't happen. But yeah, he'll be there or thereabouts, unless a back marker gets involved. But yeah, I reckon top four. I reckon for Evan.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think he's certainly got the potential for a podium or potential to take his third gold. But the man alongside him might have different ideas. Just 143. That's Cameron Willisey. He's had his best ever season with SSCN. He's been a little bit more committed to it this year. Won his first title in F1s with the World of Shale back in March with a great drive. So obviously Shale form's pretty good, but he tends to say that he's more of a tarmac racer. In fact, in real life, he does all his racing on tarmac and had some very good results in it, but we'll have to see how he goes on the loose. The other thing with Cam, he's also won the Scottish Championships this year in the 2 litre saloons and in the F2s. So he'll be looking to make a hat-trick of them when he goes up to Cowdenbeath in a few weeks' time for the F1 Scottish. What do you think of him at Kings Lynn Shale, though, Stu?
I don't like him. Purely because when he first started, everyone learns the tracks and stuff, and it felt like he was using my rear end a little bit too much. Of course, it was all his fault. It had nothing to do with me being too slow and not being able to get out of his way. But yeah, he's come along a long way. He doesn't always drive like he's a well-soiled machine all the time. He's got a good chance. He's got a good year, like you said, and I think because he's been so good, that scared Owen off. I think Owen's scared of him a little bit, and I'll leave it at that, like that.
Okay, right. We'll move on a row. Inside row 2, it's probably the most favoured position. Most people would say that. Everybody seems to want to start there. This year we've got 391 David Rodder starting in that favoured position. Now, David's form has been great since his return. He was a little bit rusty in his first few meetings, but he soon put that right and rounded that off with a British Championship win at Swaffham with an absolutely fantastic move on the last lap to steal the title from Simon Broderick. Now, Davy Boy, as everybody knows him, he's been around heat, on heat even, if you want to say that, all his life, pretty much that way anyway, and his results over the years have been absolutely incredible. He's won a couple of SSCN world titles and plenty of other titles in other leagues throughout his career. He's something special, but we're not blowing too much smoke up his arse. We'll leave it at that. What do you reckon, Stu?
Well,
for a fellow northeasterner.
I think he'll bring it back to the northeast. Keep it up here where all the best people live. The only thing higher than his racing IQ is his hairline. He's really good, to be fair. And if you chat to him, he's always willing to help you out with advice on setups. So I can't fault him.
It's not really worked for you, that though, has it?
I don't use them all the time.
That's right. Okay, right. Sat next to DB on outside row 2 is 136. That's Adam Oldham. Adam's another who's really got into the groove this year. He's sort of played at SSCN for a couple of years, but back in the last season, this season, he's given it a really good go, and his results are just incredible. He's won a title I think in every mod this season so far, he's got a real liking for the UK Open, which he seems to, he does actually hold the UK Open title in every mod, which nobody's ever done before, so that's quite an achievement. Seems a bit of a dark horse for this race. It's probably not one of those that everybody will think of straight away for winning it, but I think he's got a really good shot. What do you think?
Yeah, he's a bit like herpes. Like you never know he's there, and all of a sudden, boom, you realise he's there, and he does that quite often, and he's really really good at being like herpes. So yeah, I reckon he's if he gets the brakes and there's trouble ahead of him, I think he can slip through and just piss off into the distance, and
yeah,
that might happen on this track.
I think what we could say probably about all of those on the first three rows is that it's the lap consistency. Once they get into a rhythm, they can just knock off lap after lap at the same sort of pace, and I think that makes a big difference, especially on a track like this where it's hard to get a break. So if you do get one, you've got to really capitalise on it.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about rhythm, and I can't dance for shit. That's why I'm single.
No comment. Right, back to the racing. Inside row 3, it's 285, Simon Broderick. Si had an absolutely fantastic start to the season. He looked on good form and as fast as anybody on both surfaces. After the first two world qualifiers, he topped the points charts, and it just looked like, this could be his year. Things slipped a little. I don't know if he had a bit of a computer problem at one stage, and then he had a good battle, as I mentioned earlier, with DB in the British Championship, which came second. Possibly feel a little bit aggrieved, and he could have won it. It's just one of them things. Sometimes it falls your way, sometimes it doesn't. He's a good shale driver. He's probably faster on shale than tarmac, especially the slippy tracks. I'd say he's probably the best in the league on the low grip shale surfaces. Kings Lynn, banked, fast track, it is shale, but there is a little bit more grip. So do you think that will be a disadvantage, and he would have preferred it on the looser tracks?
Yeah, definitely. He's very, very good on the tracks that everyone else just dislikes, which is really annoying about him. It's a shame he hasn't raced more this year, because he really mixes it all up. Sometimes it gets tiresome watching the same people win all the time, but it's always nice when someone does kind of come up and break into the top twos and threes and win stuff. So yeah, he's another one where if he gets a bit of luck, and he keeps his head, because he is ginger, he should be all right.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Right, well, outside row 3 is yourself, Stuart Price. I don't know what to say really. I'll try and keep it civil and keep it polite. Now you've had another good world qualifying campaign. Not quite as good as last year where you started on the front row, but you're still in the top 3 rows, so it's the business end of the grid. I think you should be fairly satisfied. You've produced some absolutely fantastic skins over the season. Again, you keep changing them. Currently running a Richard Ainsworth replica for your shale car, which it'll stand out really well on race night. Everybody will certainly know you're there. Grand Nationals, what is it about Grand Nationals with you as well? You seem to find a lot of form. You're up there in the Grand National Championship. You've rattled off a few wins this year in them. If you could imagine that the World Finals are Grand National, surely you'd be in for a gold top.
Well, it's all psychology. I spend all meeting convincing everyone that I'm not very good, and then I show up in the Grand National. Or it takes me all night to get any sort of rhythm, as I just mentioned before. I'm not very good with rhythm. It just takes my time, and like last year, yeah, because of last year, I held back in the qualifiers this year because I didn't want to be at the front row, because I didn't make the first corner last year. So it's all very tactical. It's every race has been very tactical this year. Honest.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. I'll take that. We'll just have to see how you're getting on the first bend then this time. See if you can get round it.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. And then I'll let everyone fight, and I'll try and John Lund it later on.
Yeah. Just sneak through unnoticed. Just be nice and subtle. And,
yeah.
Yeah, man. John Lund's been known to fall asleep on a grid as well, so you don't want to be doing that.
Well, I was tempted to repaint my skin like very similar to Ash's. So when I was up towards the leaders, everyone just think they're lapping me.
Yeah, that could possibly work. Apart from Asher's got his very own unique driving style, and I think you struggle to replicate that.
A few more of these, that's all I need.
Yeah, quite possibly. Okay, we then have a 2-car gap, as we do at SSCN. So we move on to inside row 4, which sees our youngest driver on the grid, number 14, Melly Pruden. Melly's coming on in leaps and bounds, even though the youngest driver is probably one of the more mature drivers in the grid as well, in his driving style. Is another what just sort of appears from nowhere. He's very composed, never gets overly excited in his racing style, although he can get a little bit lippy in chat every now and again. UK Open winner in the saloons last year, came very close to retaining it this year. His shale form on F1s is probably better than his tarmac, so I'd expect him to be aiming for a podium. I think he's got a decent chance of being up there. What do you reckon to Young'un then?
Yeah, you always forget how young he is sometimes. So yeah, you forget how young he is. So sometimes when you ask him for advice, it's like asking the starfish for directions. But yeah, he'll be I don't think he'll be aiming to win it or do anything. He'll be aiming to make sure Adam doesn't win it, because Adam stole his UK.
Oh, that's a very good point. Yeah, doesn't start that far off him. That could be interesting. There's certainly a little bit of banter between them, but I think it's all very good-natured stuff.
Yeah, and he'll be very, very thankful there'll be no flags in the World Final.
Yeah, that's a decent point. Is that if any stoppages and a yellow flag came out, and it'd do his head in, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on from there to our current F1 driver in real life, which is 567 Craig Banwell. Craig's had another decent season with the F1s online. He's doing very well and up to yellow top in the real ones, and he's starting to find some form. He's had some pretty lousy luck with bad weather at meetings. He was unfortunate. He raced in the Northampton monsoon and at Bradford last week when it just absolutely lashed it down. Now the online version of Kings Lynn, that ain't going to be wet. We know what we're going to expect there. It's going to be dry, it's going to be fast. It's a local track for Craig, so whether he can claim any local knowledge on that or whether it's just purely going to be a case of he'll go and get stuck in. He does seem to like races where there's a lot of action going on. If there's a lot of cars and a lot of carnage, Craig seems to have a knack of picking his way through. Do you reckon he can do that on Tuesday night?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think quite a few people on the grid will have been hoping that at Bradford his goggles won't work and his eyes were fucked, so he couldn't race World Final. Because he's not shy. He's not shy of his bumper, as we've seen, as I've felt a few times. But he is man enough to apologise when he realises he's in the wrong. So he can't fault that. He's a good lad. I think he's a dark horse, but he'd be a very, very popular winner if he did manage to come through and win it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. That he's one of those people that everybody seems to get along with. So I think you say that about the majority of the grid. But yeah, it'd be a popular winner. Right, next is inside row 5, and that's where we see the defending champion 294 Owen Anderson. Now Owen started the season probably displaying the gold roof and the number 1. Started well, picked up a few wins early doors. Rattled off a heating final as well at one stage, and then got a little bit frustrated and decided to take some time out. Really good to see him back. We had a little chat with him at Kings Lynn at the F1 World Final a couple of weeks back, and he explained a few things to us, which I thought was really good of him. So he won it last year, and he was one of them that he had been a bit of a perennial bridesmaid in the past. He'd been second place to quite a few people in different title events. And then last year, we finally got that monkey off his back, got his first gold roof. Back end of the season, looked absolutely deserved and worthy champion with the race, and he did, and the results he got. First time for a few months. Will he be rusty? Do you think he'll be straight back on it again?
Well, he needs. I know I mentioned Banwell having his possible damaged eyesight from Bradford, but Owen needs to take care of his eyes because that's the only 2 balls he's got.
Harsh.
He'll be all right if he knuckles down and actually just focuses on racing and realizes that not everyone's bumper is out to get him. Like some people are really crap. We're not going to name names. If he can keep his frustration level down, he'll be all right. So if I was him, I'd have some pre-meetings, something. I'm not going to say what on here because I don't want us to get banned off YouTube or whatever. But yeah, he's definitely going to be up there.
He's got the raw pace.
I just hope he keeps his head because it'll make a better race.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and if he gets a good launch at the beginning and he can get up with that leading bunch, it just throws another fast lad in with the leading bunch straight away. I know you might not like it so much because it'd be, banging on your back door pretty quick. But once that's happened, he could be, he could be a real threat to the leaders.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't be the first time he'd been up my rear end.
Yeah, allegedly. Okay, outside row 5 is one of the league veterans, I suppose is one way of describing him, 192, Kenny Pruden. Kendo's been racing heat since the mid to late 2000s, I think, when he started on the old UK dirt platform with heat. He's been around the block, he's got the t-shirt, worn the t-shirt out a few times, still turns up, still races, more than capable of a good result. His F1 form hasn't been quite as good as previous years this season, but he's still a very quick racer, and he's won 2 titles in saloons this year. Beginning of the season, took the ORCI and the Nationals, so he's still got some pace. He's a fierce competitor. Whether he can sort of change that into his mindset for Tuesday and really go for it, or whether he'll sort of try and pick the pieces up, we'll have to wait and see. What do you think Kendo's going to do?
I think in a past life he must have been a complete bastard to someone because he has so much bad luck. I've never seen anyone on the Tuesday nights get as much bad luck as he gets.
Well, he has loads of luck. It's just all of it's bad.
Yeah. So maybe this is karma building up, and then come World Final night, everyone else is going to get the shit luck, and he'll just snake through and get away. Because he is when he's on form, there's not many people who can catch him.
No, this actually happened a couple of years ago at the last Hensford World Final, where the top 3 or 4 were trading blows, and then suddenly with about 5 to go, they'd delayed themselves that much. A big pack of cars all sort of caught up, and Kendo was one of them. And then from nowhere, I think he led for a corner, and it was just like, bloody hell, where's he come from? So he's more than capable. So it could happen. We'll have to wait and see.
He'd be another popular winner as well, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Right, inside row 6 is the second Anderson on the grid. This time it's Daniel. Dan's had a pretty steady season. Not his best, I wouldn't say, in F1s, but he's been there or thereabouts. He's had a few wins, some second places. Always seems to be in the top 10. So you'd expect him to get his head down, pedal hard, and you'd think he'd do that. He starts directly behind his brother, so whether he'll think about attaching a tow rope, do you think? Maybe trying to just follow Owen through for a few laps and then see what happens after that? I'm not sure. So I'll have to judge with Dan this year because he has been a little bit of an enigma in a way.
Yeah. I'll just follow Owen round. It's another one who's when he's on, you can't catch him. But it's those moments when he is on. It's too inconsistent and sometimes. But if he's on the night, then I think he will try and just follow Owen round and try and avoid trouble.
Yeah.
But he is a good driver.
Yeah.
If he'd done more, did he miss some meetings?
Yeah, he missed a few weeks. It's for personal reasons, but he's back now. He did explain why, and obviously I'm not going to go into that on here. So yeah, he just had a few weeks off, and he's come back. And since he's come back, his racing's been strong.
Yeah, if he'd been on
He's
all
looked in good
year, I
fat.
wouldn't have been in my position. I don't think
Yeah,
that's enough praise I can give an Anderson.
yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, right, next one. Somebody who doesn't need that much of an introduction because everybody knows him. It's 542 Andy Burrows, right in the middle of the pack. You'd probably quite like that. I think there's more people to hit if you're in the middle. That'd be one way of summing it up. He'll be happy to be on the grid, will Andy? It's not quite his favourite formula, but I do think secretly he's warming to him. He always keeps telling everybody saloons are the best, but now he's involved with this Heritage F1 team, and I think he's got a little bit of he's got the hots for F1s these days. Now he just can't beat a Chevy, a big block or a small block V8 Chevy just burbling away in the background, and I think that's floating Andy's boat now. Race wise. He's very quick at Kings Lynn. I've watched him there a few times in the past. He's got some real genuine pace, getting away from other cars, and I think it's that sort of track that you need to make the break, get clear of other cars, because if you don't, you just end up every corner just trading blows, and you go nowhere in the race. It's one of them. But he's a good mate of yours as well. What do you think his chances are?
Well, it depends what mood he's in. He's very, very good with the bumper. He quite enjoys the bumper as well. He causes that many disasters. They're going to start naming hurricanes after him. And like you said, he's finally accepting that the loons are shite and the F1s are the best formula. So, and that car.
It's taken a while, hasn't it? But I think we're getting there.
that car he's got, the shell car, will look great with a gold roof.
Yeah. It looked great with a red roof. He needs to pull his finger out and get a red roof if he can't get a gold.
Yeah. Come on, then. You pull your finger out.
All right. Next on the grid is an old mate of mine from many, many years ago. So he must be old. Schoolmate. It's 190, Phil Brown. He's on inside row 7. We all know Phil, how calm and cool he is. He hardly ever loses his rag. He's just sort of a complete gentleman. And then he switches his computer on and it all changes. Well known for his disco rants. He's a bit like Farmer Jim from Brassic in a way when he gets on one, which I quite enjoy. He's had a fair season. He had a bit of a dip early on, dropped into white grade for a while, which was badly undergraded. There's no way he's a white. He should be yellow or blue at least. I think in F1s, he's got some good pace. Seems to be another what cops for a few accidents that aren't always his fault, but he seems to end up in the middle of them. Don't know why that is. His best form this year has been in saloons where he's been red top, and in fact he topped the points charts after the first grading. So he knows the fast way around. Might be clockwise rather than anti-clockwise, but he can get round there all right. What do you think? What do you reckon then to Phil? What do you think he'll get on?
I'm reminded of Phil every time I go in my backyard and see my rubbish. But yeah, Mr. Happy, he's like the Cliff Richard of SSCN.
Yeah, he's just Mr. Squeaky Clean, isn't it? There's nobody like him.
Yeah, no one like Phil, thank God.
Sorry, Phil, we're only kidding, and you know that.
I'd love him to get top 5, to be honest. He deserves it. He does do a lot, and
he puts a lot of work into the league. He does all the screen grabs after every meeting and that lot. It just keeps things ticking over as well. Yeah, it would be great. I think he'd be happy with top 10. To be honest, top 5 he'd be absolutely blown away with. But we shall see. We'll find out on Tuesday.
He'll be happy to finish.
Would be amazed if he does. Okay. Phil's partner on row 7 on the outside is 387 Stuart Menzies. Probably Stu's best ever season in F1s. He's got up to red and he's stayed there. And he actually looks really comfortable from red. I've talked to him about this, and he says what he's done, he's spent quite a bit of time this year when either sat in the middle, when it's not his heat, or watching replays afterwards, actually going on board with the top lads, seeing how they drive, the brake points, the lift points, how they get through traffic. And he says he's learned so much. So fair play for actually taking the trouble to study the game a little bit and to see how the top guys do it. And I think it just pays testament that, even as old as Stuart is, you can still learn new tricks. It's one way of looking at it, he's, to get red and hold it. He's probably a better tarmac driver than shale driver, but he'll always tell you that he's led a world final at Kings Lynn, so he knows what it's like to be in front at this track. Do you think he can be in front at the end?
Of course I'm going to say, come on, the Stews! But yeah, I echo exactly what you said, what you just said there. Yeah, he's spot on, Stu. He's like the old wise man, the old oracle. And I think a lot of people can learn a lot just from talking to him. If he doing crap week in, week out, and you wonder why you're getting fenced and causing issues, just talk to Stu, he'll sort it out. And if not, he'll have you in handcuffs.
That's in a past life. I don't think he does it quite as much these days, or not in public anyway. Okay, next row, it's inside of row number 8 is 471 Patrick Nestor. Patrick's been with us for 4 or 5 years now, one of the mainstays of the league, really enjoys his online racing, supports every mod, absolutely loves the F1s. Normally known as more of a tarmac racer than a shale racer, but I think that's changed a bit this season. And he's also, I think it's more a case with Pat, he goes well on the bigger, fast-flowing tracks. He seems to like to be able to get the car wound up and carry momentum. Not quite as quick on the stop-start tracks or the little short ovals where he just finds it a little bit harder work. But everybody else will know Pat's been in this race. I think that's the best way to describe it. What do you think his chances are?
I call him Forrest Gump, because you never know what you're going to get with him. 1 minute he can be flying, and the next minute he can be flying in the air, and you drive underneath him. Like, he's one of his guys. I think he needs to talk to Stu, and Stu will sort him out. A bit of advice from Stu, and he'll be fine. But again, it's one of them where when he's on, he's flying. I can't catch him. What isn't saying much, but he can go really well. Yeah,
well, we'll find out soon enough. He would be pleased to be on the grid, and probably doubly delighted with his grid partner as well, which is 492 Ashley Anderson. Then to have quite a bit of banter about Ash's spelling in the server chat. Pat seems to be his, I don't know, like the school teacher, and Ash is the naughty boy with him at times. But, Ash will be chuffed to be on the grid inside row 8. It's towards the back, but he's there. That's the main thing for him. He wants to be in it. He's got his 2 lads starting a little bit further up the grid in front of him. One of the league's main characters, I suppose. Everyone knows of Ash. And same, in the wider world of stock car racing, he's got a bit of a reputation, and he's always a bundle of fun. Sometimes he's the butt of the joke, sometimes he's telling the jokes. Whichever way you look at it, very popular guy. I don't think he's going to win it, but imagine the cheer if he did. You were talking about popular winners earlier. Well, I don't know whether there'd be a cheer or a complete silence because everybody would be in shock. Hard to say, really, but yeah. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it, to see a gold roof on 492s? What do you think his chances are?
No, it wouldn't. That would be terrible for the whole league if he won the world. If he wins the world, none of us will be able to sleep for the next 95 days because we'll all get shower selfies.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah. You've just put that image in everybody's mind now. That wasn't fair at all.
Yes. So everyone, if you see Ash in the lead, you know you need to destroy. Save your eyeballs.
Yeah, but even putting that thought in is not good. But yeah, okay, we'll leave it at that. We don't want any more pictures of even in his minds of Ash in the shower. Okay, inside row 9 is Daniel Spurgeon. debut World Final for Dan. First season with the league. Came in just right at the start. He's never raced anything online before. Never done any sort of racing, just the games on Xbox and PlayStation or what have you. But he's certainly never raced in a league or never raced heat. Stu Menzies showed him the way. He's enlightened him and got him involved with the league. I've got to admit, he's been an absolute pleasure to deal with right from when he started right through to now. He's polite, turns up on time, races well, races fair, well within the rules. He's been possibly one of the finds of the season. And although he was doing a lot of winning right at the beginning, which sort of propelled him through the grades, and this is in all mods, not just in F1, you always get this with anybody new. They'll zoom up the grade after being at white top and think, oh, this game's easy, piece of cake. And then suddenly you get to red or blue top or what have you, and you suddenly realise, God, it's actually really hard, is this? And the guys who are coming from the back are ultra talented. But Dan's got his head down. He puts a lot of time into his practice when he gets chances. He's busy with work and he works some funny hours. But it shows that the effort he's made can get you results pretty quick, but you've just got to work hard. I can see him making top 10 quite easily. He's unspectacular, but he's quick. What do you reckon?
He's like a silent fart. You're sitting there just chilling out, going around the track, and like, whoa, what was that? What was that? And it's Dan flying past you. So yeah, he very well could get top 10 because he I don't know, he just kind of, he's another one of those guys who just sneaks up on you. Lovely guy as well. Lovely guy to chat to. Got a lot of time for him. But yeah, he can sneak past, and before you know it, you're left with a smell around you, and he's gone.
Yeah, I don't think he'd appreciate that, but yeah, it's a pretty good analogy, that. Right, his fellow row 9 sitter is on the outside of him, is 53, John Carlin. I think I'm probably right in saying that John will be the oldest driver in the race for this one. I don't think he's the oldest driver currently racing with us, but I think he's the oldest in this race. Quite experienced these days. He's been at it for a good while now. Knows his way around most tracks. He got a new laptop about 2 years ago, and since he got that, I think his form it transformed him. So I'm not right sure whether the old one was clockwork or something, and he used to really struggle with it. But the new one has definitely given him a little bit more speed. It's still a little bit erratic every now and again, but not so much these days. And you can more or less, what you're going to get with JC. He's competitive. He never gives up for any place on any bend. Sometimes perhaps a little bit of a wise-headed say, just follow somebody through once they've passed you rather than diving back in. But on the whole, he'll enjoy his race. And let's hope he's had a few issues recently with his computer booting him from the server. Let's hope that we can get him through the World Final and then try and work out what the problem is, because it's a little bit of a mystery, is that one. I know John's really frustrated with it as well, and he's tried quite a few things, and he's not the only one, but it would be nice to solve that issue. What do you think John's chances are in the World Final?
Well, everyone thinks he's 53 because he's a John Lund fan, but he's not. He's just that old. That was his first phone number.
Yeah, I suppose it could be true. I don't think he's quite the oldest. What races with us at the moment, but I think he's the second oldest. So yeah, I won't say who I think the oldest is, because I might be wrong anyway, and could end up offending a few people.
I reckon it's probably Phil.
Worryingly, Phil's younger than me. Yeah, don't look so shocked. You nearly sprayed all over the skateboard then, and probably not for the first time. Okay, row 10 on the back row now, and we've got Benny Boy, Ben Homewood, 155. He's had a bit of a strange season, has Ben. I think he's just missed a few world qualifiers. His grades are about where they normally are. His form's about where it normally is. He has good meetings and bad meetings depending on the tracks. But yeah, you'd normally think of BB being quite a bit further up the grid. He's not slow at Kings Lynn. it's very good with his bumper, and he's a fast starter. I can see him being one of those that makes a lot of ground up in the early laps. How much ground, or whether it collects a tyre on his way through, I'm not sure. But I think he'll be a fast mover at the beginning.
Oh yeah, definitely. He'll be the first. I think he's probably going to be the first one to put the bumper in, and that's just lining up.
Yeah.
As a little love tap and a bit of a warning. But that's his style. It works for him sometimes, doesn't work for him other times. But if he can get a break, he's yet again, when he's switched on, he can get round. And he can be very hard to catch. So it depends on his frame of mind, really. And it depends on the people behind him. Because if people give him the crap, he won't take it. He'll give you it back.
I suppose there's one bonus with that is there's nobody behind him. At the start.
Ashley will be behind him probably after the first lap, hopefully.
Well, quite possibly, yeah. Or if somebody manages to hit reverse on the grid. We shall see. We'll soon find out. Right, so outside row 10 is 48, Jack Ward. Now, at the moment, it's looking very unlikely that Jack's going to be able to make it. He's been on his holidays recently, so I've not heard much from him. And I've heard that he's working on Tuesday, so he probably isn't going to make the grid, which is a shame. He's had a reasonable season. He had an absolutely belting meeting at Hensford in the World Qualifiers where he won heat and final and looked the part that day. He was very quick all day. So it's going to be a case of a reserve coming in to replace Jack by the looks of it. I won't know for certain. Well, obviously it'll be after this podcast goes out when we'll know for certain the booking deadline is on the 27th at 11 p.m. So we'll just have to see what happens regarding that. If he does make it, he's a good driver, he's another hard driver, so you'd expect him to make progress, but it's looking unlikely he's going to be there. So whether you want to say a few words on what could be the invisible man.
Well, maybe he's stuck in Guantanamo Bay. It's been that long since we've seen him.
I've never thought of that. Right, it's quite possible. Okay, so as it stands, if Jack can't race, which we think that's going to be the case, we have a reserve in the World Final. The reserve is the only white top on the grid. It's his first season in the league, and that's 288, Jason White. Jason will be absolutely made up if he does get onto the grid. Great achievement for a White to get on it. Is another what's improved as the season's gone on. Had some big upgrades to his computer mid-season, and since then, and a little bit of a change in driving style, he's started to pick results up. I don't think that there's much else I can say, really. He tries hard, he practices a lot. He's been an asset to the league since he's joined, and he'll enjoy the occasion. I don't think he'll be overawed by it. He might not quite have the pace to live with the top lads, but he'll be optimistic of getting top 15, shall we say. What do you reckon Jason's going to think about it?
Yeah, top 15 is very possible for him. His progression needs to slow down a little bit, so I don't have to keep painting new skins.
Well, he started painting his own now.
Yeah, yes. But yeah, it's really good that we've got a new guy actually making the grid, because there's quite a few drivers who you kind of, no one's guaranteed a spot on the World Final grid, but you expect to see certain people there who haven't made it this year. So well done, Jason.
Yeah. I think the other thing, like we added something a while ago for the World Final, which is the appearance points. So for every qualifying round you race at, you get an additional 5 points. And I think for the lower graders especially, if they're willing to do all the rounds of the qualifying series, you've guaranteed 40 points on the board straight away. So I think that's a really good reward for people that are willing to support the league all the time, whereas you might get somebody who's only done one meeting, and they might have a good meeting, but I'd rather somebody who's supported the league all season gets that reward for getting in the big race. So, Jason's in there, and well done to him. So, as it stands, James Eccles, 52, is now first reserve, and Ant Dewhurst, number 80, is now second reserve. So them two will join the server on World Final night, and if there are any last-minute problems, it can happen. Somebody could have internet issues, the computer could pack up. Anything could possibly happen. Either of them two could make the grid. They're both hard-charging drivers. Ant has won every F1 title apart from the gold. He's normally used to starting a lot further up the grid, but he's another one. And James as well. They've both missed quite a few qualifiers. And so if you don't get the points on the board and don't do enough qualifiers, it's with 60 drivers have raced this season. It's hard to make that top 20. We'll see how they do. What do you reckon of the chances if they get in?
It would be a great story for Ant to win it from the back, wouldn't it? To finally get the one thing that's missed from his career, because he is a good driver, very good driver, very fair. Well, at least from my dealing with him, to be honest. I've never had an issue with Ant. I get on quite well with him. So it's a shame he's not in on the grid as yet. And as for the other guy,
Jimbo.
Is it 52?
Jimbo.
52.
Yeah, James.
Yeah, he has his moments. He can go really well. Did he come into the league at the same time as Cameron and?
A little bit after. Cameron has raced on and off for a couple of years. James sort of joined more last season.
Yeah.
So he's still relatively new to me.
All of that group are all pretty good, to be honest. So
yeah.
But everyone's on the grid deserves to be on there. It's just unfortunate. We can't have a massive grid, otherwise it would just be pointless.
Yeah, it will be chaotic. But I think 20 cars for the World Final is just a nice number, is that? It's especially on the bigger tracks, it should work well. Well, that's it. We've summed everybody up. I hope everybody's enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed the chat, Stuart, and thanks for organising all this. It's how it comes out after edit, we'll have to wait and see, but hopefully it should be absolutely brilliant. And everybody in the league enjoys it then, and it's just something else for us to focus on towards Tuesday and look forward to what should be the best meeting of the season. Okay, thanks very much to everybody. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Good luck, everyone. Cheers. Bye-bye.